So hello guys, welcome to biology class. So today we are going to learn about control and coordination of our body and the terms associated with our body. So control and coordination. Suppose take few examples. For example, if you are sitting in a classroom and your teacher is teaching, you talk slowly. So your mind thinks that you should talk slowly. Second thing, when you are in a DJ night, you talk loudly to a friend next to you. So that's the difference in classroom and in the DJ night. And sometimes you are in a hurry, so you run, right? And sometimes you are relaxed, so you walk slowly. So these are the movements that you control and coordinate in a proper way. That means you adapt your control and coordination of the body according to the needs. So let's learn how body is controlled and coordinated with the help of nervous system. So first we will see about nervous system in animals and then in case of plants. So let's study control and coordination today. Hope you will enjoy the lesson. So this is the typical nerve cell through which we control our body or coordinate accordingly. So for example, suppose if you touch a hot tea or a hot cup or something which is hot, for example take fire. So when you touch it, how do you withdraw your hand so quickly? So what happens when you touch anything hot or which is not good for your health? So you take off the hand immediately, right? So first of all, the reaction goes like this. So this is a dendrite neuron nerve cell. So it consists of nucleus, dendrites, axons, nerve endings and cell body. So first of all, let's know that gustatory receptors are used to taste and olfactory receptors are used for smelling. So how does the information pass in this nerve cell? So first of all, when you touch something hot or for example fire, try to touch a fire, the information is received by dendrites that it is hot and it's not good for your health, and this information, these dendrites set off a chemical reaction which in turn is converted into an electrical impulse. Now this electrical impulse goes to cell body, and from cell body it goes to axons, and from axons the electrical impulse sets off some chemicals, and these chemicals again cross the gap or the synapse, and then they pass through another nerve cells, and this process continues till they pass a particular part of the body or where the action needs to be taken. For example, consider brain. So this information is passed to brain, then brain sends back this information to withdraw your hand, and thus our body is controlled. So in this way our nervous system works. Okay, now the next concept is reflex action and reflex arc. So what is reflex action? For suppose if you are touching a flame, hot flame, then you quickly withdraw your hand, right? So the action taken to quickly withdraw your hand is known as reflex action, and taking the input signal that to withdraw your hand from the flame and giving the output as a reflex action is known as reflex arc. Okay, so basically reflex arc is nothing but taking input signal and giving it as a output action in the form of reflex action gives reflex arc. So totally reflex action is sudden action that you should take in order to not harm your body or any other situation. So these are two important aspects, just remember them. So the next part is our central nervous system is human brain. Sorry for the rough figure. For appropriate figure just refer any textbook. Okay, so this is a rough figure consisting of cerebrum, midbrain, cerebellum, spinal cord, hindbrain, hypothalamus, pituitary gland and forebrain. So brain performs an important function in control and coordination. Without brain we would have never been able to coordinate proper way, because it sends the output signal as what to perform and in what way to perform. So basically brain and spinal cord, this consists of cluster of nerve cells and they constitute the central nervous system. So basically every action is controlled by brain. Okay, so there are differences in actions, right? For example, sensory actions, then are movements, involuntary, voluntary actions. So which part controls which type of actions? Let us see that. So basically forebrain, that is this side of the brain, controls the sensory impulses, that means your smell, your sight, etc. Okay, so basically sensory impulses are controlled by forebrain. Now the next is midbrain. For example, our heart beating and the closing and opening of the eyes, which are not in our control, that involuntary muscles or breathing are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, next is cerebellum. For example, if you want to go in a straight line or pick up a pencil or drive a bicycle by leaving two hands, don't get in an accident zone, drive safely. So these type of precision of voluntary muscles are controlled by cerebellum, and this is all about the brain. Okay, now the question is, how do plants coordinate, right? So plants never move from one place to another, but some do, I guess. So in case of animals, we have nervous system, and this nervous system controls the movement and other actions. But in case of plants don't have nervous system. So how do they control the movement? For example, there are two types of movements in plant. One is growth dependent and other one is growth independent. For example, in case of touch me not plant, the leaves, when you touch them, they fold, right? So that is one type of movement, and other one is the seed germinates. So stem goes upwards and roots goes downwards. So this is second type of growth. So let us see detail what happens and what not. So in case of plants, let us consider the example of first type of movement where no growth is involved. For example, first type of movement, okay, no growth is involved and still the plant is able to move, able to move some of the parts. For example, in touch me not plant, the leaves, when you touch them, they fold, right? So how does this happen? In plants also there is chemical reactions which sends electrical impulses, and these electrical impulses allows a specific part of the plant to take any movement. So but they do not have the special type of nervous system like in case of animals. So here what happens is that they change the shape of the cell by transferring water or changing the supply of water in the cells or the within the cells. For example, cells shrink when they lose water and they expand when they gain water. So basically when you touch a plant which folds, that is touch me not plant, it shrinks, so they lose water. That means that part of the plant loses all the water in the other direction, I guess so, and when the action is over, they slowly gain water and the leaves open up. This is what happens in case of no growth. Let us see what happens in case of movements where growth is involved. Okay, now the second case is where the growth is involved. For example, consider the example of pea plant. So it is an climber, so it holds any object for the support and it climbs, like it's moving in one direction. So basically it has tendrils, and when these tendrils catch the object for the support, their growth is at a slower rate than the tendrils which are away from the object. So there are two types of sensitiveness by which, or there are sensitiveness in the tendrils by which it grows faster at faster rate and depending on the position where it's located. For example, if the tendrils are located on the object, their rate of growth is slower, and when the tendrils are away from the object, their growth is faster. That means they are moving. For example, in case of light sensitive, the plant always, the shoot system, that is upper part of the plant, it always grows in the direction of the sunlight, right? And the roots always grow down, that is root system grows downwards and the shoot system always grows upwards. So this movement where growth is involved using the sunlight. So basically upper part goes towards the sunlight and roots towards the soil. So this is how the growth movement is involved. Okay, if you don't understand something, just comment below, and if I may go wrong, just please do correct me. Okay, now the last part is hormones. So why are hormones required, or the hormones required? So hormones are basically needed for the secretion of chemicals which are later converted into electrical impulses, and that's why the hormones are needed for the basic purpose of nervous system. So one of the hormone, for example, when you are running faster or you are walking slowly, but in the second case, that is, or the prior case, while you are running faster, your body needs energy, lot more energy. So in that case, or the situations in which the quicker actions or the danger is involved, adrenaline is secreted, and adrenaline is secreted from adrenal glands. And how it works, let us see that. Okay, so first of all, adrenal glands secrete adrenaline into blood. Okay, and from blood they target all the organs. For example, you want to run faster, right? So they target all the organs present here, and including the heart. And this is very important part, because this heart increases the heartbeat, taking in more in oxygen, and then oxygen to muscles, for example the muscles in the legs, and this oxygen takes the blood to digestive system, and arteries is reduced. For example, when you are taking in oxygen in the more quantity, the blood to the digestive system and other parts is reduced, and now this blood flow is diverted to the skeletal muscles. Okay, and then the breathing increases and the action is taken depending upon the adrenaline, that is to run faster. There are other hormones also. For example, iodine is necessary to synthesis of thyroxine. So this is also a hormone which regulates carbohydrates, fats and protein metabolism in the body. And there are also other hormones like pituitary gland. It controls the growth of the body, and depending upon the hormones secreted by pituitary gland, your growth is dependent, that is, you're shorter or you're much taller than me. So the pituitary gland, and the next is that you might see some changes in your body parts, and that is due to the hormone testosterone in case of male and estrogen in case of female, like they say puberty, I guess. So these are the hormones, and here we are ending the control and coordination. And if you like the video, please do like and subscribe, and if you have any doubts, please do comment and please subscribe.